I want to say thank you to all 485 of you who watched my first video, and I know we're going to have fun at this one too. Come on, let's get started. I love gnomes, especially this guy. And you know, gnomes have been popping up everywhere in the stores and in TV shows, and I think my house might be covered with them this Christmas. Today we're going to learn to make this cute little gnome pin. So let's get started. To make this cute gnome pin, you'll need some lightweight felt, some acrylic fur, a 1/2 centimeter pom-pom, a pin back, some blush and a brush, and some winter branches. Some specialty items that you'll need for this craft are a jar lid to make a 3-inch circle and a pattern made out of cardboard 2 inches long, 1 inch across, and tapered to a point. You'll also need some tools to help you do this project. A paper or tablet, something to protect your table, your glue gun and some extra glue, a Sharpie, some scissors, an X-Acto knife, and for me, my trusty skewer. Our craft friend Linda suggested using silicone fingertips for hot glue crafting. To begin this craft, we'll start with making the hat. And to make the hat, I use something to make a circle. A jar lid is really handy. But if you're smart and you can do the compass and make a perfect circle, that's good for you. There you go. We have a circle, and then you'll need to cut that out. Once you have your circle cut out, then you just fold it in half and cut it down the middle. Take one of the halves, fold it in half, and cut it down the middle. So for one circle, you can make 4 of the gnome hats. The first part of making this gnome is to make his hat. Now we cut out a triangle, and this making the hat is the hardest part. Once you get past this, you're in. I roll the hat through so that the side that the line is on the inside. Now, what you want to do is fold this side over, one side or the other, it's up to you. And I put glue, a strip of glue, all the way up the hat. And then you bring the other side over and make a pointed hat. Now, your tip is always a problem. So, here's where my little skewer comes in. I'm going to put a little glue right in the tip of the hat and use the skewer to kind of bring it over into the point. It's just not the easiest part of making this craft. Now you want to make sure that you don't have any gaps like I have right there in the hat. Now you should be able to put your finger in the end of the hat like that. Then turn the hat over and let it dry. And we're going to work on the beard. Turn your fur to its back side and get your little pattern that you've made. And we're going to cut a beard, but what we want to do is draw around our pattern. Again, get your Sharpie and just draw around the pattern. And it doesn't matter what your drawing looks like because you're going to cut it off anyway. Don't be afraid. The fur, I'm going to say, is the next hardest part. Now, you can cut this fur in two ways. You can use your scissors, but then you have to try to manipulate the scissors underneath the fur and just cut the webbing. So, an easier way to do that is to use an X-Acto knife with a really sharp point and just cut the webbing. You do not want to press hard because you don't want to cut the fur off that's on the front. Make sure that your fur is going the right direction and then just cut the webbing. You can probably hear that little click, click, click as the threads cut. And you may have to go over it a couple of times to make sure you get that. At the top, you can cut all the way through because you want to cut the fur from above off of there. Now let's see how we're doing. Yep, we're pulling this off. And you're pulling the fur that's around your drawing off of there. Try not to pull the fur at the bottom away because you still want it to stick out. Let's see how we're doing over here. And you may have some threads that you just have to cut to free your beard from the rest of the fur. And you may have to cut them twice or 3 times. There we go. Now, pull all the fur one direction, and that'll give you this little pile of other fur that you don't need. So there's your beard. You can see that it's you can spread it out or you don't spread it out. Now, what I do is take the hat and make sure that the fur is not too wide for the hat. Now, this one is a little bit wider than the inside of the hat, so you want to cut some of that webbing off inside of there to make it fit. All right. If it doesn't fit, it's going to make the beard spray out, and you don't want that to happen. Okay, so I take the glue gun and just put a little line of glue on the inside bottom of the hat. My arm's mixed up here. And then I roll the beard like this and stick it in and then let it flatten out. So that's the inside of your hat. That's the back side of your own. And the glue strings make it want to come with you wherever you go. Now you can take a little dab of glue and glue the back of the hat down, and that will finish that side of it. Looks like I have a little extra glue right there. So I'm going to spread it out, take it off of there, let it dry a little bit before I turn it over. Now we have our little man. He's got his beard and his hat. And the next thing we're going to do is glue the pin back on the back of his hat. Now, the traditional way to put a pin on is from the top to the bottom. So you want to make sure the opening part of the pin back is at the bottom. Makes it easier than trying to put it on the other way. So just a line of glue and set your pin back. And you have a little bit of time to get it straight so that he hangs well. I think that's pretty good. Now let that glue just a second. And while we're doing that, while he's drying, we will get his nose ready. And what you do is you find your blush, any color blush that you happen to have on hand. You get a little brush and you just brush that white out of that pom-pom, because you don't want it to be perfectly white and match his beard, because if you had a beard, your nose wouldn't match your beard either. So get it nice and colored. And then you're going to choose your spot. You got your nose ready. And his nose needs to be just a bit on the hat and a bit on the beard. So if you put a little dab of glue right in the middle of there, you should be able to stick your nose right where it goes. You see how it's sort of on the hat, sort of on the beard? That's his beard and his nose. And then I took the branch, the winter branch that I had, and I cut up a little bit of it, just enough to make him look like a woodland gnome and have that branch with the berries on his hat. Gives him a little color and a little more interest. You can just imagine the more berries he has on his branch on his hat, the more prestigious of a gnome he is. Well, it sounds good to me anyway. And there you go. You have your gnome. You can fluff his beard up. You can make it straight. Some people even divide off some and try to make it look like a mustache, but I don't really care too much for that. And now you have a gnome pin. Now that you know how to make these little gnomes, you can make a barrette for your granddaughter, or you could give your friend a lovely pin to wear for Christmas time. Or you could actually take these and string them together in a garland to wrap around your tree or put across the window. Or you could just take them and put a hook on them and hang them on your Christmas tree. I'm sure you'll find lots of ways to use these cute little gnomes in your home. Thank you for watching Will's Crafts today. Please put your comments below because I love to read them. And show me what you're working on as well. Please share this page with all your friends. The more the merrier. See you next time. I want to introduce you to Hagar and Hilda. They're our white Christmas gnomes. And we're going to learn to make these next month on Will's Crafts. Please join us.